Yes, here we are in the paint. Okay, you already know the deal. It's 9 o'clock, Monday evening. You got me, R. Jones. I'm the host. I'm also known as Angus Black. That's my AKA, and I'm here with the guy that created the show, that be Mr. Mark A. Cunningham, known on here as Max 611, and also our good friend to the show, brother, my man Chandler. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm good.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. How about you, Chandler? I already know,
I'm,
but
a- I'm all right. That would be your nom de guerre, by the way.
I hear you, man.
Could y'all speak in English, please? Y'all know I'm
No,
I'm from the hood, and
Yeah,
I don't need.
and he's not that bright. I got
that
you.
would be his alias.
Thank you.
He's not that bright. We
I'm
got some
not.
other people. We got some other people we're gonna add as well. I want to thank my man Reggie for joining us. What's up, Reg?
Hey, the champ is here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
My brother.
also joining
What's
us,
good,
my
people?
man. What's good, brother? We got Don from NC in the house as well. How you doing tonight, Don?
Are the new undisputed.
Listen.
You guys are
will-
funny.
I
Let,
will
me-
stop
let me
right
start
there.
it. Let me start it off
Chandler.
by saying
Hey, Don.
we are gonna put a bid in for R. Jones to be the next contestant
Yes.
for Floyd Mayweather.
Yes, indeed.
But he's gonna have to go through Joey Buttafuoco first.
I could tell you in the group, man. I could just offer him a ham sandwich. He'll take that loss right there. Yeah, I'll trade you. You lose, I'll give you a ham sandwich. I'm sure he'll take that deal 10 times out of 10. You know?
It's funny. People think that was a real fight,
Oh,
and that it was set up to be a real fight. And listen, Lloyd is 44. It's an exhibition, and him and that dude Logan gonna split money. It's all good.
right. Look who's here
Oh
joining us.
wow!
The
Listen,
snowman.
everybody. Send prayers to our brother
Yes.
Brian, also our brother Chandler. They're going
Yes.
through some things. But those are our brothers. Send them prayers. How you
For
doing,
sure.
Brian?
I'm just so happy to be able to breathe and be
Word.
alive
Right.
because, and I want to send this message to the gentleman out there. When you have blood clots in your lungs, it is nothing to play with.
No.
No, listen, Brian. I already know. I suffered
Yeah.
DVT in my legs about 5 years ago,
Mhm.
and just I pray you take the meds that
Word.
they're giving you, and that you get healthy.
Indeed,
That's
brother.
rough.
And this guy's a warrior too, as well, because you're laying in your hospital bed and you're here on In the Paint with us. You know what I'm saying? So that I gotta definitely give you like a standing ovation for that, man. Thanks a lot for joining us, man. We appreciate that.
I've missed you guys.
Yeah.
We miss
Does
you
that
too.
mean he can't talk? Does that mean he can't talk as much?
Oh no.
You just mad because you can't talk as much when you're healthy, you smart ass.
You guys are hilarious. You guys are hilarious. That's great. That's great. Listen,
It's just fun, while
For
I'm in the
sure.
process of being transported. I beg your pardon, into another room.
Mhm.
What happened? This all started Saturday when I was up and about around the house, and I was actually going to go back to bed,
Mm.
and then all of a sudden my chest got real heavy and I fell.
Ooh.
And
Damn.
my wife and my daughter, God love them, sprang into action because, according to my
Right.
daughter, I was unresponsive. And
Whoa.
yeah, I was unresponsive, and I just started calling for help.
Right.
My wife sprang up, made the call to 911. My daughter told them what was going on, and next thing I know, I'm in a hospital, and they're figuring out what's going on. And then I was airlifted to Duke Hospital, which is where I am now.
Okay.
Listen, over the past, I lost my best friend's little brother a couple days ago. So pray for the Skinner family. My little brother Jermaine, he won't suffer anymore.
Yeah, man.
and friend to the show, my brother James Troy Skinner.
Yes.
You and your family have my prayers, and everybody out there. You know, we in tough times.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
we
you
are.
know,
Indeed.
losing people, but I'm glad
This
you're
is why
well.
we use sports to get away from the tough times. This is why
Right.
this
Exactly.
is why we do it.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I would not be here. I can honestly say I would not be here were it not for my wife and my daughter and all of you guys praying for me to
No doubt, brother.
get through this, because
Yep.
there's
For sure.
no way I could have done it. There's no way I could have done it otherwise.
I hear you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Definitely. So again,
Right.
you know, our prayers are up for you. You already know that. You already know that anyway. You know what I'm saying? So for sure. You know? Damn, I hate to go from such a heavy and heartfelt, you know, talk to sports, man. You know what I'm saying? But I guess
Well, that's what we do.
I just wanted to check in real quick with you guys, because, like I said,
Okay.
they're getting ready to move me into another room.
All right, brother.
All right.
Get a
It's all good.
chance before you're off the air, I'll check in again. So I just wanted
Thank
to
you,
say
brother.
what's up.
Be
Take care.
safe.
Be safe, bro.
Yeah, be
All right,
safe.
Brian.
Stay up.
All right. Thanks a lot. Yo, let's get into the show. First thing we got on the docket tonight is the legendary Duke Blue Devils coach K announced his retirement. You know, I know this breaks Max 611's heart. You know, since he is the ultimate Duke supporter.
Okay.
What can I say? I mean, the guy, love him or hate him, you got to give Coach K credit. You have to. You understand? I mean, that's just me. I don't know any other personal stuff or strife that is going on at Duke. Maybe there was. Maybe I didn't pay attention. Maybe I missed it. But for the most part, he has guided them to like a winning, like just a winning tradition at that university.
He's got the most wins in NCAA Division I history with 1,170 wins.
Mhm.
That's 76.4%. Most of it with Duke. He won 5 national titles with Duke.
Mhm.
With Duke, they've had 12 Final Four appearances. Listen, I don't hate the man. I don't like the school he coached for. But he was a great coach. I happened to many years ago, a couple years ago, I ran into Coach K in the city,
Really?
and I happened to have on a North Carolina jacket. And you know me,
Wow.
I had to pop mess at him. I said, "Hey, Coach K." He was like, "Hey," I was like, you know, we run the ACC. He said, "No, you don't." And he shook my hand. We had a nice little talk, and I told him, you know, I respect him as a coach. He is a great coach. I can't take that away from him. I don't know where Duke goes after this. I don't know if they look within and bring in somebody who was a Duke player.
John Shire. John Shire is a coach in waiting.
Okay.
Yeah. John Shire.
Okay.
Right.
And he's gonna coach. I believe Coach K is gonna coach this year. And listen, hey, he did his thing, man. He coached. I forget how many years he's coached at Duke, but he's had a great career. He's been a good ambassador for basketball.
Right.
And kudos to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care for him personally, but the one thing I'll say is I liken him to a Bobby Knight in this aspect. When you look at his ex-players, right? Tell me that the former Indiana or Duke player that you hear about doing something terrible or that hasn't gone on to do something positive with their life or hasn't, you understand what I'm saying? And not always in basketball, not just in sports, but in life. The majority of the young men that he brought through there, they made something out of their lives, whether they stayed in sports or not. They were successful in life and they were good human beings. So that's where I like giving guys credit because, you know, it's not just about the sports aspect when you coaching these young men. It's about what are you doing to impact? Because they told, well, you're supposed to be impacting their lives and helping them be better human beings. So I will give him all the credit in the world for that because, like I said, I can't honestly think of one Duke player that left Duke and, you know, was a POS. I honestly can't think of
one semi knucklehead, Corey Maggette, and that's
okay. And even him, it was just
and he's done well in his life.
Right. Anybody else?
Anybody else? Y'all went blank. Continue talking, Chandler.
Oh, I mean, but yeah, I mean, like you said, he's been there close to 3 decades.
Right.
Now, I'm not a fan of the John Shire thing. I don't think John Shire should have been the guy. Personally, I think it should have been. I lost his name, but he was Capel. Yeah, I think Capel would have been more than competent because people know. See, the thing is, nobody knows who the hell John Shire is. I had to go back and look him up. Right, I forgot. Yeah, but I forgot who John Shire even played for Duke. You understand what I'm saying? So now you're talking about recruiting. Come on, man. I mean, some of these names that they could have got, at least the kids would know them. When he going to somebody, I'm John Shire, I'm coaching Duke. I'm sorry, who? Weren't you on 2.5 Men? No, that was John Cryer. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I'm just saying. I think they're gonna struggle because I don't think Shire's gonna be able to recruit. And I certainly don't think he's going to be able to recruit the one and dones, which is what everybody's doing now. So unless he's really good at getting those transfers, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's doing the transfer. You play one season, I don't like to coach him a transfer, which I don't have a problem with. Unless he's going to be really good at getting those, maybe 3 years. I think they give him maybe 3 years and they move on to somebody else.
Well, Chandler, it also depends on who his assistants are. They do a lot of the recruiting. So
true.
He needs to have somebody who's in touch with being able to relate to the youth.
Yeah, it's true.
Definitely but they also want the name also.
Right.
They're looking for a big name, and John Shire is definitely not it.
Oh, that's a fact.
Well, none of them were big names before they got started, guys. And the way the NCAA is run right now, with all these one and dones, I mean, does it really matter? I mean, we had this conversation with the kid that went to Howard, that high school prospect. If you're there,
Maker.
Yeah, if you're there for a one and done, the chances of you getting exposure at Duke versus no knock Howard is gravy for the kid. I mean, I think in some subliminal way that might be why Coach K decided to, back out of this at this time. He sees where this is going. There's really no building teams like he had back in the day with Leitner, Grant Hill, the other Hill. There's no more of that in college basketball. Let's just be honest. So if R. Jones can get some shine for 1 year, he's gonna get a lot of national exposure. Gonna get a lot of TV time. So I'm at the point now when it comes to college basketball, like who cares who's coaching? Not serious. Not everybody's in it for the ranting and raving, stomping the court like Calipari no more. And he's nothing but a one and done coach too. So,
well, he's good at one and done. All his players seem to
get drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
Not only that, but they do what he needs to get done, which is win games and get him to, at least a Elite Eight,
right?
A Final Four appearance. You're right in a way, Don, that Coach K sees the writing, but hey, he's had a great career.
Yeah, without doubt.
How old is he?
70,
right?
Yeah, 70.
Born in 1947. I'm not the mathematician of the crew, so y'all figure that out.
97, he was 50. 2007, he was 60. 2017, he was 70. That's 4 years of 74.
Hey, time to move on.
I mean, as a Tar Heel, I can't stand the team, but I can't knock the guy. I mean, it is what it is. God bless him. He did this, and he started at West Point.
Yes, yeah, he did.
So he definitely gets half a kudo for me just for that. But hey, God bless him, man. He had a great run, man. Think about that. I almost fainted because Chandler came on with some positive stuff and he didn't rip right into the. I almost hung up by accident. I was shocked. Chandler bringing the positive vibe. I
Go
don't want to
figure.
have to choke on my
That's how you can
lemonade.
tell I'm depressed. I'm being positive.
That's how it works.
Man.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You know? Wow. Well, with that being said, let's do a little moving on. We're gonna run in the lane of the NFL football. With this next one here. Well, big news, of course. The Atlanta Falcons trading wide receiver Julio Jones to the Tennessee Titans. Wow. I like this. Right off the bat. I like this. He's joining, the Beast Part 2, Derrick Henry. You got what's that guy? AJ Brown, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
And also joining the likes of quarterback Ryan Tannehill.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Who has seemed to straighten himself out after getting with Tennessee, getting away from Miami.
But see, there's two things about this that I didn't like. One,
Please.
first of all, everybody knew they had to get rid of Julio Jones, otherwise they couldn't sign their own draft picks. So first of all, if I'm a smart NFL GM, I'm not giving you nothing for him because you're going to have to release him at some point because you can't have him on your team because you can't afford to sign your draft picks. Okay, that's first thing. So the fact that they even got a second, I don't understand because I just started with a fourth rounder. Like take it or leave it, bro, because you got it. You either got to trade him or release him. So take what you can get. The other piece is for Tennessee, and I thought this when I heard it is. So you're telling me that you're going to change your offense? Because
they're going to have a new offensive coordinator. Because
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that team is built to run the ball. That team is not built to pass. Ryan Tannehill is not a guy you want throwing the ball all over the lot. All right, he's great at play action. He's great at making. He's the quarterback that you want to have a maximum impact while having a minimal impact. If you understand what I'm saying, it's like you're not counting on him to throw you to a win. You count on him to not screw it up. So now with Julio Jones, are you going to change your offense? And now you're going to go like, oh, we want Ryan Tannehill to throw for 300 yards a game? Because one, you ain't built like that. Okay, your offensive line is built for run blocking. Pass blocking makes you passive. All right, and you talk any offensive lineman, you have to be passive in pass blocking. You're aggressive in run blocking. So now you got an offensive line that used to be aggressive, now has to keep receiving punishment. You got a quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. You can say what you want about how he's taking steps forward. He is still not a guy that you can trust to win you a game when you need to win a game, as we've seen in the playoffs. When they needed him to make a throw, has he made the throw? No, he hasn't. So I don't understand the move unless you're totally overhauling your offense, which doesn't jive with the coach you have, who is a run-first, ground and pound guy. So none of it makes sense to me.
They got a new offensive. Well, they got a new offensive coordinator. They'll have a new offensive coordinator.
Mike Vrabel is still the head coach, bro.
Okay, but Julio Jones makes their offense better.
How if you're running the ball 60% of the time, how is he making your offense any better?
Well,
you're gonna throw the ball at him, right?
Can I just
so when you gonna throw the ball at AJ Brown?
Reggie, when Chandler, you always say Atlanta doesn't throw Julio Jones the ball in the red zone. Okay, yes. Now in Tennessee, he'll get the ball in the red zone, and he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. They don't have to overload him, and like you said, Tannehill's good with play action, so that's a boon for Julio Jones. His numbers might not be great, but their offense will be great.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Okay,
and again, I'm not the football guru, but I'm listening to Chandler. Great point. He's a play action quarterback. You got a great running back. Who better to play action with him? And now you got two good wide receivers. Let's not forget, guys, if I'm not mistaken, Tennessee went to the AFC Championship, what, two years ago?
Yes, they did.
If I'm not mistaken. And of course, they were stymied when they couldn't run the ball for 6,000 yards in that game. Remember?
Right.
Again, if my memory serves me correctly. They caught on to Henry as the rounds got deeper and deeper, and I'm assuming he might have wore out a little bit. This guy, he pounds when he runs.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got two good wide receivers to play action with. I don't think they really got to reinvent the whole wheel. I think the wheel is there. You just got to use the wheel right. And I don't know, guys. I didn't see this coming.
It's a good. I didn't. Well, Julio wanted out.
That part,
to Chandler's point that Atlanta, you wouldn't have given Atlanta. I wouldn't have given them a first round pick for Julio due to his age and his body, because he hasn't played. He's always dinged up, so he'll be.
I thought I read they gave him a second and a fourth.
Yeah, they gave him a second round and a fourth round.
Yeah.
Second round this year, fourth round next year. Atlanta was stuck. If they don't cut him, it was salary cap ramifications. So so they did what they had to do.
Anybody else?
I think Reggie was gonna say something, wasn't he?
Yeah. I thought so.
Nah, I wasn't.
Sure.
Okay, I guess.
With that,
Reg.
yeah, I know, right? With that being said, that move is that even going to make them a threat to KC? Because I think KC is still king of the hill in the AFC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, it's KC,
besides Buffalo,
and
that's
right.
Nah, I ain't even going to say that to that boy till he can learn how to throw the ball. I can't say it. KC and Buffalo is a 2-man race. Sorry.
I'm definitely with Buffalo, so there's no question about that.
Why did I say that?
I'm just being real. That's like, because I can't co-sign that KC stuff. I hate them. Obviously.
Well, that's the only New York team anyway. You're right. Go Bills.
There you go. That's the only New York team.
The only team in New York. That's what I'm
exactly.
saying.
Those other twos they're frauds. They play in Jersey, so the hell out of here.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to, sounds like people think that Tannehill is going to be able. You remember Mark Sanchez, and I'm not saying they're the same, but they kind of are. And remember when the Jets said, "Hey, we don't want to run no more. We want you to throw the ball all over the lot." And now? Granted, they didn't give him nothing to work with. Okay, we will stipulate to that. But how did it work out for Sanchez? Even when he went other places where he had talent, it never worked out when you asked him to throw you to a win. And the thing is, I don't trust Tannehill to make a quarterback has to make 7 throws a game. Like a good average quarterback has to make 7 throws a game. A great quarterback will make 12. There's 7 that average quarterback should make, and then there's 5 that the great quarterbacks make that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he made that throw, and he gets caught. The average guy, they get intercepted. Tannehill, to me, you're asking him now to be better than average, and I don't think he can be. So now I think you see him throwing more interceptions, and I think you see the offense actually get worse, even though point-wise, I think they'll score more points, but I think the offense will be worse, if that makes any sense.
Well, if they throw more, he will turn the ball over because of usage, but he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Well, he doesn't in Tennessee.
There's no need for him in Tennessee with Henry.
Right.
You got to feed the monster. I mean,
but he had 33 touchdowns last year.
To piggyback off of what Chandler is saying, he is a game managing quarterback. That's it.
Okay. We need him to manage the game with that big ass running back and that big wide receiver.
I just see it getting. I'm sorry. I disagree with you a little bit, Chandler. I get what you're saying, but I do disagree a little bit. I think that we're not asking this guy Tannehill to be a world beater. I understand that, but how can it hurt your offense by getting a Julio Jones? Nobody's saying you have to focus on him 75% of the time. No. You keep doing what's work. He just added a very good piece to the mix offensively.
Will they do that? Will they do that? Will they do that?
How about this?
I don't know. I don't have the answer.
How about this? Remember when the Giants had Bradshaw and Jacobs and they had Plaxico?
Right.
How easy was the game for Eli?
Well,
and Eli turns the ball over. Eli was allowed to Not comparing him to Tannehill because they're two different quarterbacks, but Eli didn't turn the ball over in big games when they, and he made the plays that needed to be made.
And 2 playoff runs, but in other playoff runs he did turn the ball over in big situations. So I mean, honestly, Eli is actually the perfect comp
comparison.
Eli's the perfect comp.
Right.
Well, I think
and if they play their offense like that, I see them succeeding, and Tennessee has a good defense. So
okay.
that also with the 2 wide receivers talking about Julio Jones, and I think you said AJ Green,
Brown.
AJ Brown. Okay, I'm sorry, AJ Brown. I don't think you could go 8 in a box on them now.
No, they can't. They can't. They definitely can't.
So that's the plus side of it. But again, he has to be able to make the throws.
Yeah,
you're correct about that.
Right.
I mean, Eli was always good until he went from Eli to Gazoo, and we know what happened then with that big Gazoo helmet. You got to think. We had this conversation too. Could this be like a real shocker that a guy with 2 Super Bowl wins is Hall of Fame material? Everybody would say yeah, because he has 2 rings. And
but he has numbers.
Right.
Throwing
he
numbers.
He has a lot of broken numbers too, Mark. Let's keep it real. The Giants didn't win the Super Bowl. They had a shitty year.
Yep.
And that's when Gazoo showed up.
During the Super Bowl runs, though, during the playoffs, he played well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He'll get it.
It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I just don't trust Tannehill. I think is really what it comes down to for me. If they had any other quarterback other than Tannehill, I would say this is a great signing or a great trade. I just don't trust Ryan Tannehill.
Hey. All right, I hear you. I already made my argument, so that's just what it is. So I'm not going to disrespect my man. You know what I'm saying? So I respect your opinion. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it there. Yo,
I still wouldn't have traded, giving up no second rounder for him, though, bro. I'd have made them release him. I'm sorry.
Well, I hear you, man. I hear you. Listen, at least they were smart enough not to give up a first. So you give them credit for that.
Tennessee needed another receiver since Davis went to the Jets and Julio was their man. And I think Atlanta said they weren't trying to let Julio go and stay in the NFC. So there were rumors that he was supposed to go to Seattle, San Francisco, and LA. Also were all in the mix. But Atlanta said no, we not sending you in the same conference. Hell
nah, you already know that deal. It's not gonna happen. Oh, look who's here. His mic is live as well. It's the Bishop. Oh, I was hoping you call in or whatever. You know what I mean? Tune in into this conversation today. Certain things are happening.
Is that a segue?
Yes, it is. It is a segue. Let's get into that since the man is here. Brooklyn Nets lead. They have 1-0 lead over the number 3 ranked Milwaukee Bucks in the second round. And go ahead. Tell them the score, Mac, please.
And currently blowing them the freak out the building right now. I think they up by 20 something.
No, 30. It's 30.
30.
Oh, I'm sorry. I told y'all I wasn't a mathmatician. So
okay, but it's 30. Okay,
it's 30.
Yes, it is.
It's a solid 30.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, get ready to go to the fourth. It's right. It's the 30
without James Harden.
Without thank you, Sir Chandler. Without James Harden. Bishop. You have something to say?
I think he's saluting you.
You got something to say? It's kind of quiet over there. What's going on, man? How you doing? Now he's fronting.
Let me unmute.
He's frozen.
Let me unmute my mic.
Yeah, I'll get your mic.
Is this thing on?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on, bro.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Listen carefully. They still get monkey nuts. I don't care if they blowing them out or not. I don't care. It's like,
This is gonna be
Like,
fun. This is gonna be a lot of fun for me.
It's still a lot of basketball to play.
That's true. That's true. I was expecting Milwaukee to shoot a lot better tonight. I don't know the percentages and whatnot, but
No, they trying to play. They playing Brooklyn basketball. They trying to outscore Brooklyn. It's like that's not gonna by running and gunning. That's not gonna work. They need to play Milwaukee basketball.
I just want to thank God that you're not coaching Milwaukee. Let them play as they are playing the rest of this series. I'll be a happy man.
Came out and start trying to do what the Nets is doing. Like the Nets is just frenetic and just like get the ball and one-on-one go. And it's like y'all can't play like that. You got to play.
Yeah, I hear you. That if going down 0-2 is too good.
It's over.
They protected. Brooklyn is protecting their home court. They won 2 games at home. They won 2 games at home.
Okay, I hope the Bucks can do the same thing. We'll see.
Hey, we'll see.
We'll see. Because if they take one of those 2 games in Milwaukee, it's done.
So does Budenholzer get fired, Bishop? Does Budenholzer get fired if they lose?
Man, they need a purge of all of these coaches. They need that series Purge. They need
NBA, I know the movie you're talking about.
They need an NBA purge because they got a whole bunch of coaches that are just crappy. Like Dallas coach. Y'all
he gotta go.
2-0. Y'all are 2-0. He's all cocky and talking like the series is over. Milwaukee, I 3 seasons ago, I'm like, yeah, you gotta go. 3 seasons ago. Popovich, you gotta go, dude. Like you just like your time is come and gone. Your time is come and gone.
Okay.
There's two things that are certain in the NBA playoffs. The Bucks will buck, and Doc Rivers will Doc Rivers. It's just that
we gotta see. We gotta see.
That damn simple. The Bucks are done, and Lord, if the Atlanta Hawks beat the damn Sixers, I don't want to hear another word from the Doc Rivers fan club. Because you already hold the record of losing 3-1 leads 3 times with 2 different teams. No.
They ain't even got a lead. They down 1-0, and little Chico DeBarge's son, Trae Young, is running buck wild.
And that makes it even better that you don't even have a lead.
Word.
Oh, let the Sixers lose, guys, and I will never, ever, ever utter Doc Rivers' name again. Never. I won't even clown him no more.
First of all, Mac,
he is what he is.
And Mac,
yes,
Mac, don't insult El DeBarge by calling that lisping, balding, snaggletooth knucklehead his son. All right.
I didn't say L. I said Chico.
Oh, okay, Chico. Okay, my bad. All right.
Chico's what is that thing in the back of his head? It's like thin.
I don't know.
He got like baby. He still got baby hair.
No, somebody said what was that? Was that under the arm?
Armpit hair.
That's what it was. Armpit hair.
Oh Lord.
Oh wow.
But listen, he's playing well. Nate McMillan galvanized them because they started the season off bad and they fired the coach. Yep. And I hope they let Nate stay on.
They need to. Seriously.
Yeah.
And there were also issues with Collins and Trae Young that seems to be resolved. They seem to play as a unit as opposed to what we saw earlier in the year. And Philly, my God. Simmons, can you go? Listen, he shouldn't leave the arena unless he hit 50 free throws. He need to stay in the gym all the time shooting free throws and doing something.
He might hit him in practice though, Mac.
Yeah, at this point, the Sixers would be happy if he hits 4 free throws after the game. Come on. He is what he is, too, guys. Come on.
Right.
Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about Atlanta. Now that I got my sore loser hat off, Atlanta checked a lot of boxes this year. Like when their coach got fired, they was just getting guys back from injury. A lot of these guys were new to the team. A lot of these guys was young. But I mentioned this before the season started, guys. The Atlanta Hawks went into the offseason, them and the New York Knicks, had the most cap space. Atlanta shot their load. They spent all their money. They got pieces. People bought into them pieces. Gallinari, you're going to come off the bench. We're going to give you $20 million, but you're going to come off the bench. Check. I got it. Collins, just get your head together. No more drug suspensions. And another thing I mentioned last year, how the hell did the Atlanta Hawks get Capella? They stole him. People forgot about that because he was hurt last year. And he didn't play for the Hawks.
They didn't steal him.
They stole him.
D'Antoni didn't want him.
Houston got rid of him because he was getting punked by Draymond Green in the
they got rid of him
Western Conference.
They got rid of him because of his contract.
Right.
But
they stole him. They stole the guy.
And
Who did
again,
they give up?
D'Antoni didn't want him, so
because they was going with the small ball. Yeah, I get it. But at the end of the day, Atlanta stole them. You can't tell me who Atlanta gave up for. I can't. All I know.
Yeah, but if Atlanta,
go ahead, Chad.
if Atlanta doesn't fire Lloyd Pierce, we're not having this conversation. What made this? So they actually, because somebody actually made a smart decision and said, you know what, we made a mistake with this coach. We need to cut bait now, which most teams won't do. Most GMs are so invested in proving that they right. You know what I'm saying? That they will stick with a coach that they know they need to let go. Portland, I'm talking to you, 9 years too late. But you understand what I'm saying? So the fact that Nate McMillan, this is about Nate McMillan, honestly. Now, yes, the pieces were there, but this is about Nate McMillan because without Nate, this team ain't even in the playoffs. This team is not even in the playoffs. I understand what you're saying, Dom, but it's more about the coach.
But riddle me this, Chandler. Riddle me this. He was an assistant coach on this same team.
No, he was the head coach in waiting. He wasn't a replacement assistant. He was a head coach in waiting. They hired him.
They hired him with the coach. You can make up a name. He was the assistant coach. Okay.
They hired him with the idea of replacing Pierce because if you remember, Pierce was so involved in like the Black Lives Matters movement, speaking out on he was in the forefront of the racial issues and so forth, and he was really outspoken about it. And I'm like, yo, like this is the same issue that like Mark Jackson had when he started getting on his soapbox. And it's like, I got it. You can speak out, but you can't be the leader. You can't be in the forefront of it if you want to maintain a certain position. You can't. You just can't. And he didn't get that message.
But he also wasn't a good coach.
He didn't get along with a lot of the players. That's why he got fired.
And at the end of the day, when we sit back and just 2 minutes ago, my man Bishop went through a litany of coaches that should get fired. Right?
So we got a few of them we're gonna talk about tonight. But go ahead,
I wholeheartedly agree with him. Trust me, it's time to get these guys out of here. But then when the team does good, we go back to how good the coach was, not the players. But when the game goes south, we don't go to the players, we go to the coach. That always confuses me, guys.
Well, Dom, it's a combination of both.
Exactly. Thank you, Mark. That's what I was getting at.
Nate came in and he saw what needed to be done. And yes, Atlanta has talent. And the players, new voice, new situation. And here we are. The team he left, the team who fired him, they in disarray because they're looking at their coach like, we about to fire you. Coach in Indiana, he's about to get fired.
Yep.
Because he doesn't get along with the players.
But they had so much going on in Indiana, Mark. That was a fiasco, man. Serious. I can't understand what the hell they were doing in Indiana. Not even to say the coach. The player movement, the bad trade. You make a bad trade and then make
Pritchard is a bad GM.
Bad trade. Yeah.
The GM is an idiot, and 2, the coach is bad.
Yeah. But they still have talent, though. That Indiana team still has some talent. Like, they should have made the playoffs. That team should have made the playoffs. I'm sorry. And I'll put that on. And again, I'm giving Nate credit in Atlanta because of how badly they were playing. And yes, the players have to buy in. But sometimes when a team gets to a certain point, and you guys, we've all seen this, where even when they fire the coach, it don't matter because at that point the players are checked out. Nate, and we've seen him do this time and time again. No matter where Nate has gone, one thing is always the same. Guys play hard for him. It's kind of like it's a few coaches you can say that about. Thibodeau, no matter where he goes, guys play hard for him. Nate McMillan, no matter where he goes, guys play hard for him. They're fundamentally sound, and they seem, I ain't gonna say they overachieve, but they achieve what they should. You know what I'm saying? They play to their level. Like if you got a guy who should be scoring 15 points a game, he's scoring 12 to 15 points a game. You know, if you got a guy who's supposed to be a star, suddenly he's a star. So that Nate has a track record for that. So I'm going to give him the lion's share of the credit here because this was a young team where you had guys fighting, talking about shine, money, this, that, and the third, right? And we all know what young teams normally, once the money and the shine get involved, what happens? You know, everybody got to go. Instead, he united this team and got guys to play to what they really could be. I mean, dude, he got Clint Capella looking like an all-star again. When last time we called Clint Capella look like an all-star?
Dude, his coach.
Never.
And also, right, and also, just the fact that he got Collins and Young to mend whatever friction they had, and also,
right.
I think Collins is going to be a free agent at the end of this year. Do you sign him? Do you re-sign him? You have to bring him back, right?
Yes.
Cam Reddish is hurt. He was hurt this year. You got to keep Capella. Gallinari was a good pickup. They picked up Lou Williams.
Right.
Lou Williams is also done what he needed to do. The kid Bogdanovich is he lit the Knicks up.
Yeah.
He was the key to their offseason acquisitions.
Right.
Remember when Milwaukee
that was a low key
him?
move, though.
That was the move that put them over the top. And that happened after our podcast when I was talking about how they spent their money. It was still up in the air with Milwaukee getting them. Then Milwaukee broke some, God forgive me for saying an NBA rule. He ended up on it. He ended up on Atlanta. And that was the turning point right there, guys. Because when you look at them, and I'm not saying they're going to win no NBA championship, don't get me wrong. But when you talk about going shot for shot against them, I ain't just talking about threes, guys. I'm just talking about straight up shot for shot. Look at their roster. That kid hurt.
They can score.
Bonanovich, whatever his name is.
And
Young,
they play
Collins,
solid defense.
Williams. And they got a rim protector. This was an accident waiting to happen, guys. Me and R could have been coaching them and just said, "Hey, guys, can we just go out there and have some fun?"
Let me ask y'all this question: are they going to beat Philadelphia?
They should. They should.
Embiid
They
on
should.
1.5 legs.
That's why I say
he
they
had a
should.
good game last. He had a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
30
don't know.
points. No, they're not beating. They're not beating Philly. They're not beating Philly. Stop.
You know why I say I don't know, Bishop? Because sometimes you catch lightning in the bottle, and we've seen it. We've seen some teams win a series they shouldn't win. So if Philly plays around, right, and takes them lightly and thinks, "Oh, it's no big deal. It was just one bad game." Listen, you mess around with this team, you keep letting them get confidence. We all know a confident team, all right, will play way above their heads. And listen, they only need Philly to lose one game they shouldn't lose. Right? So if Philly loses one more game that they shouldn't lose, listen, then it's a toss up. And anything can happen in a toss up because this is going 6. This is going 6.
You know how I always tell you I have a lot of free time on my hand. I'm not bragging, but I was thinking today. Serious, I was thinking today. Let's say Philly adjusts. How do they adjust?
Yeah, how do they?
Ben Simmons
how do
is
they
probably your best defender. Yeah, Ben Simmons is probably your best defender. He can't check Herter, Young, Vitch, this one, that one, Kyle. He can't check all 4 or 5 of these shooters, guys. I'm watching this saying, how do they adjust? What do they do to stop this perimeter shooting? And
you put Trae Young in the blender.
I'm getting ready to say that. You do that, and he puts you in a semi-blender and goes to the basket. You don't know if it's going to be a that little push shot, or an alley-oop.
Mhm.
You're stuck. You're trapped every time he
Listen,
does that.
I'm sticking the elbow in his
You're
ribs
trapped.
every time, bro. I'm
So
sticking the
I don't.
elbow in his ribs.
You
What I
can't
don't
do that in the
understand.
NBA
No.
How
no
about
more.
this? How about
You
this,
can't do
fellas?
that,
Do
Chandler.
you pick him up at 94 feet?
No.
It
Press him a
don't
little.
matter. It don't
No.
matter, guys.
Make him
No.
make them take the ball out of his hand.
So you got
No,
Danny Green.
you make him
and
work
you
on
got
defense.
you got Danny
That too.
Green and you got Thibault, the young kid. You got those two dudes, the 6'7".
Mhm.
You just keep them on him, and then you guys they gotta rotate, because what Atlanta does a really good job at, and they got like 3 guys that are exact same players on the perimeter. They got those 3 white boys that they all the same player. Like they pass the ball. Like sometimes I don't even know who's shooting. I don't know if it's Bogdanovich. I don't know if it's Herder. I don't know, because they all look the
Gallinari.
same. Yeah, they all look the same, and they all shooting, and they just rotating the ball. They not even like it's just regular basketball. It's
Mhm.
like Philly, they got no answers for Embiid. Even if he's on the half a leg, they got no answers for Embiid. So once what's the name is in foul trouble, there's nobody Capella. There's
Well,
nobody to guard him. There's
well,
nobody to
again,
guard him.
But
you mentioned
plus,
Embiid and whatnot. Hold on, you mentioned Embiid and whatnot. Yo, maybe he gets injured again. Make the injury
Well,
worse.
It's not even.
he got a small T in his
I'm
knee.
just
It's not
saying.
even
So
work. He had 30 points and he didn't even work. He
But
had
here's
30 points and he didn't
here's
even
okay,
work.
all right. I'm
here,
just saying. It's possible.
here's
Let's not act like that possibly doesn't exist.
right.
Okay,
But here's the
knock it
thing.
off.
Here's the thing for Bishop. He's talking about how do you stop Embiid. I'd rather have that problem than saying how do I stop 4 or 5 different guys. And you know what?
Hmm.
I think Atlanta shook the bug because that first time in the playoffs, that final pressure at the end of that game when they couldn't inbound the ball, they went through them jitters and they still found a way to work through it and get the W.
but
And
you gotta make Trae Young play defense. All right, you got to make him play defense, and that's
Absolutely.
what
okay.
that's where you're going to
Absolutely.
get them, because I'm telling you, put him in a blender on defense. You make him work, you make him run, you run him through screens and picks and everything else. You beat him up on defense where he's got to play some. Trust me. All right, that dude, he weighs 7 pounds, man. He weighs
Now
7 pounds.
right.
Come on.
So
I'm gonna go back.
I don't.
I'm gonna go back to all the kudos y'all gave Nate McMillan. Have y'all noticed what Nate McMillan? I watch a lot of basketball, so this happened during the season, not just the playoffs. Nate McMillan will take him out the game with about 2.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Each start of each quarter, he'll take him out at the end with about 2.5 minutes. I don't care how south it goes. He still won't bring him back in till there's like 8-7 minutes left in that next quarter. So he's
Right.
managing his minutes, his body. You could say throw a guy at him. This ain't that NBA, guys. You can't bang them up because they're going to call a foul. So that's why
So
he leads the league in foul shots.
the
So
problem that they have.
pick your poison.
Nah, the problem that they have, and to me, it's real simple. When he's penetrating and driving the ball, the big man shouldn't be backing up. It's like, why you backing up? Like,
Yep.
he ain't going to be able to shoot over you. Yo, if he wants to shoot that floater and float into you, accept a couple of those hard fouls where you trying to block the ball. Stop backing up. Why are you giving him real estate? Why are you giving him
Well,
real
they
estate? It's like the whole game shifts. Like once he gets past the free throw line, everybody's backing up. Why? You
but
7-footer.
but you see what they're missing, Bishop. To your point, how many times did he do that? And the big guy didn't back up. He came to him and then poop, alley-oop, dunk, easy too. I mean, they kind of milking what they do really well. And guess what? If he don't go to the basket, and you got all of those guys that Bishop says he can't determine left from right with, the one thing you can determine is they're gonna hit an open shot. They're gonna hit an open shot. So again, which poison do you pick? I mean, the Philadelphia 76ers, to me, guys, it's only me. They better come up with some answers really quick. They got the ass handed to them at home in Philly. They got waxed from the start of that game until Philly made that push. And guess what? Even when Philly made that push, and here these young kids getting a little jittery, they still got the lead back. They still push the lead. Philly cut it to 12. Next thing you know, they're down 16. Philly cut it to 13. They're down 17. They answered every call, guys.
In the
on the road.
In the last 2 to 5 minutes of the game, though, they were once Philly started pressing up and playing like how they supposed to play. The lead was down. Like they almost lost that game. They should have lost that game.
No,
they should have lost that game.
They got
they
their composure. Let me tell you something. If they was able to do this against the Knicks, who are a far better defensive team than the Sixers.
Stop.
I'll just give you the numbers.
I'm a Knicks fan.
Give you numbers. Don't stop.
I'm a Knicks fan.
Stop. I did look at the numbers. Who held their team to less points this year? The Knicks. Who had the lowest field goal percentage against? The Knicks.
I'm a Knicks fan.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter if you can't score.
It doesn't matter
if you can't score.
That's regular season.
We're not talking about offense. We're talking about you want to talk playoff.
That's regular season, dude.
Tell me which game Atlanta topped or came close to their season average in points per game against the Knicks in the playoff. I'll give you a hint. None. None. Not one.
And the Knicks still got mopped in every game.
Because they couldn't score. Reggie just nailed it. They had a very bad. We're talking defense, Chandler. We're not talking. I said the Sixers are not a better.
And we talked about this, and I know I said this. I said, the Knicks have a great defense, but their offense is suspect, and we saw that.
Their Achilles heel. Yes.
So when you talking about great defense during the regular season, the Knicks had a pretty good defense.
No, not pretty good.
With stopping the 3-point shot, they had a pretty good defense with stopping the 3-point shot. Now I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Knicks fan.
They were the best.
And they still finished fourth. They still finished fourth in the weak ass Atlantic division. And then they got to the playoffs, and none of that shit mattered. So again, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Knicks fan. And they couldn't stop them from scoring. They couldn't stop them from scoring either.
Tell me when. I try to help you out, bro. Tell me when the Atlanta Hawks scored as many or more points than they averaged in the regular season. I gave you a hint.
With that fantastic defense, how many times did the Knicks stop them from passing the ball around the perimeter and hitting wide open 3-pointers with that top-notch defense? It doesn't matter when you get to the playoffs. You can fake the funk. You can fake the funk in the regular season, like the Knicks did. And I'm a Knicks fan. They faked the funk during the regular season, and then they got to the playoffs, and the wheels fell off. The wheels fell off.
Their offense resorted back to their offense they were all year. There ain't but so many times
we getting off topic.
Play that tough.
We're getting off topic.
Say the
though.
Knicks were a pretty good
defense against Philly.
Philly is going to make the adjustment. Now, we can say what we want about Doc and this, that, and the other, but his teams do make adjustments. At a certain point, does he fall his face yet? Now, the thing with Nate is, yes, we see what they do real well. Philly's going to adjust to that because they have the athletes to adjust to it. That kid Maxey, listen, that kid ain't got no fear, right? And he will stick it in your eye. He will rebound. He will play defense. I expect him to play even better than he has been. The kid's been playing really well in the playoffs so far. Right. I expect Philly to make the adjustments. The trick is going to be, can Atlanta make the adjustment to Philly's adjustments? That's what we need to see, and I don't know if they can because I don't think they have the experience to do that.
Right. Last question on the Hawks and Philly. Who wins? Who loses?
Philly should win.
Okay, Dom.
You talking about the next game or the series?
The series.
Atlanta in 6. Okay,
Bishop.
I got Philly in 6, even though they should win it in 5, but they're gonna mess around.
I'm going to take Atlanta in 7.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Listen, you don't trust Doc.
I like Philly more than Atlanta, but I'm going to pick Atlanta. I think Atlanta is going to take it in 6.
Ooh, y'all getting Doc fired. After his first season.
Who you got, R? You're the tiebreaker.
Listen, I'm going to say Atlanta in 7. That's right, Atlanta in 7.
Okay. And with that, we're gonna move on to the next.
Yes, indeed. the LA Clippers, who were the number 4 seed, they beat the number 5 Dallas Mavericks 4-3 in the first round. First off the bat, Luka was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He was incredible the whole damn series. That last game, Game 7, he did his thing. Dallas, man, they not doing Luka right. They just not doing Luka right. You pair him up with Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, he may be serviceable and all, but come on, really. And the other guy that thank God he got out of New York, Kristaps.
Chris Soft?
Yeah, whatever. He's soft.
Chris is soft?
Porgy.
Yeah, Porgy, whatever, whatever misnomer you want to use about that guy.
Chris Precious?
You know what?
That
I'm gonna defend him real quick, and
why?
Because Rick Carlisle. Listen, and y'all forgot about this. Rick Carlisle said this in an interview last season, and he's continued it. They say Porzingis is 7'3". Why won't you post him up? Here's the coach who's calling the plays and running the team. I don't think that's a good play to put him in the post. So when your coach is telling you to stand in the corner and shoot threes,
you fellas, what he said.
Right? When the coach is telling you stand in the corner and shoot threes, right? And when you don't, he benches you. Now, could Kristaps be better, I guess, at shooting and be more involved? Absolutely. I'll give you all that. He's got some holes in his game. But a large portion of the blame goes to Rick Carlisle because not for nothing. Here's the thing. If you ain't going to use him, if you're not going to use him and he's not effective, why is he on the court? Okay? Why isn't Cleveland getting more time? Listen, Rick Carlisle, we talking about coach need to be fired. Rick Carlisle needs to go.
Yeah, so I'm not a Rick Carlisle fan. He needs to be purged. Yes. Porzingis is 7'3".
Yes.
When Brunson has more rebounds than you, the little point guard, the little backup point guard.
Yes.
When he's averaging more rebounds than you in a series.
If you only standing in the corner, Bishop, if all you do is stand in the corner, remember when Melo went to Houston?
Yes.
And it's the only comparison. The only reason I'm making some comparison because I see the same. I'm not comparing him as players. Don't get that twisted. And remember, all he did was go stand in the corner. Everybody said he was washed up. Well, he ain't making no shots because that's not his game. Standing in the corner, jacking up threes. You can't tell a 7'3" guy to go stand in the corner and expect and then when he not make shots and that's not his game, then expect him to be engaged at all. Now again, am I saying I'm not saying that Kristaps is not at fault. That's not what I'm doing. All right, he bears the lion's share of the blame. But Rick Carlisle, it's 65. It's 60-40. Kristaps and Carlisle is what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not giving Carlisle all the blame, but I'm saying Carlisle's played a major part in why this kid is not better. Because you can't tell me that you're not going to take a 7'3" guy and put him in the paint, and you keep sticking him in the corner, and they say, "Yeah, but he's not doing anything." Well, put his ass in the paint.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead,
you say 60-40 split. Why is Porzingis getting 40% of the blame if he's doing
he's getting 60.
No.
He's getting 60.
Yeah, I'm giving him 60 simply because I think he could stay more engaged. And that's to Bishop's point about the rebounding. Listen, if you ain't scoring and you mad about that, then go down there and play some defense and rebound. On defense, he's awful. Okay, I watched him fucking Toreador guys to the paint, and when he's had opportunities to square up and defend somebody, he doesn't. So that's why I'm giving him the 60. Okay, that's where the 60 comes from me is on the defensive end.
So let me ask you something.
Hold on. Go ahead, Bishop.
No, I'm saying, did you watch the last 2 games of the series?
Yeah, I did.
The last 2 games of the series, Rick Carlisle brought in George Merson or whatever, that big lurch-looking dude.
Well, he brought in
Boban or whatever. See, I don't even remember his name.
Yeah.
Boban. He brought him in, and he put him at the front of the basket, and Luka was doing what he's doing, and Boban was the outlet. Okay, when everything else fails, I'm going to pass the ball to you. You turn around, and you shoot your little shot down. Why couldn't Porzingis do that?
Because Rick Carlisle tells him to stand in the corner. You just said it yourself. Dude. Rick Carlisle told Boban, go stand in front of the rim. Rick Carlisle tells Porzingis, go stand in the corner.
So there's something that they know about Porzingis that we don't know. Because if you brought
No,
the
because
Boban down
listen.
in there to put there, and he's
He don't want
7'3",
it. He don't want it.
exactly my
He
point.
don't want it. He don't
Exactly
want it.
my point. Exactly
don't
my
want it.
point.
Which
Exactly.
may be why I gave him 60, but I'm still saying that the head coach bears some responsibility here. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's all on Carlisle. But what I'm saying is
it's on both.
He's not saying that.
Right.
Who makes the most money on Dallas?
Porzingis.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, what did it do to anything?
Yeah, so you're the highest paid player on the team, and you're the lowest productivity on the team.
Because I got my contract. Because I got my contract before you. That's the only reason I'm the highest paid. Because as soon as Luka's up for a contract, he's going to be the highest paid. But I don't care. Listen, I don't care what somebody's making. That has never mattered to me. As to when you making this much money, you supposed to do this. That's never mattered to me. Because whatever money you get, if they stupid enough to give it to you, that's on them. What was that dude's name from Portland that got all that money? Mac, you know who I'm talking about. The guy that Nets gave the offer sheet to. What's his face? Who we ain't never heard from again.
Oh,
The shooter, the two guard.
Yes.
oh, crap.
Yes.
Crabs.
Yes. Okay. Alan Crabb was making umpty squat $1,000 million, $100 million. Was he worth that? Absolutely. Should he be getting it? Because they gave it to him. Yeah. Does that mean he was supposed to suddenly be a 30-point or 25-point a game scorer? No, because that's not what he was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But here's my thing with Kristaps.
There's two of them. One is honey chipotle. One is honey chipotle. The other is
What?
Anyway.
What? What?
Are trying to eat, bro. Are trying to eat right now.
And whatever. But,
Hot wings. Hot wings.
shut up.
Wingstop. He called Wingstop, yo.
All right, whatever. It's like all that commentary you might have heard. Whatever.
Get him back to Kristaps and get him back to Carlisle.
You're a boneless guy.
Right.
Shut up.
Kristaps is 7'3", right?
Yes. I'm going to delete that.
He is going on record when he was with the Knicks and when he got to Dallas, he wanted no parts of playing center.
He don't want it.
But he's 7'3". His brother has not done his career well as being his manager and his agent. Well, they made money.
Got paid.
There
you go.
Got paid. Got paid.
But that's a matter. That's the matter of the NBA salary structure and when he got drafted. But
right.
Carlisle hasn't done Kristaps any favors in the way he plays. He doesn't adjust. He's not a social guy. Carlisle is like the guy that was the Jets coach.
Adam Gase.
He's the Adam Gase of basketball, and Luka. At times, I think Luka dribbles too much, and the ball sticks in his hands too much. But
yeah, well, they don't get along. They said that they don't get along. Yeah, him and Kristaps don't get along, and they've said that. So
Dallas has a decision to make. Do you pay Tim Hardaway Jr. again because the Knicks dumb GM Steve Mills gave him $80 million? He averaged 18 points this year. Played well. No. I'm not vouching for him.
Nah, truth be told, if he didn't play,
they'd be better off having Harrison Barnes.
Anyway,
he kept them in the series. I'm not vouching for him. But next contract, that means he's got to make a little bit more cheddar.
Nah.
Who's the coach? It all depends on who's the coach. If Carlisle's the coach, then they probably if Carlisle's the coach, I think Tim Hardaway gets paid. If they change coaches,
you're gonna pay him over $100 million.
I think if they can get him for 95,
he made 80 on the last one.
Nobody's giving him
120.
Okay, let's be clear. Nobody's giving him that. All right, nobody's giving him that.
Harrison Barnes got 80.
How many years was Tim Hardaway's contract?
4 years.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe they'll probably do something like 3 with the option of the 4th and pay him the money. And pay him the money, so it's kind of like, but it's like he kept them in the series though. He kept them in the series.
Well,
I don't know if you pay him that though, man.
right.
Come
And,
on.
Yeah,
and Paul,
exactly.
and Paul George pulled another Wesley Snipes disappearing act.
He did just
They
enough.
losing. Yeah.
He
Here's
he
the-
did just enough.
Kyrie carried
Yeah,
that.
exactly. But I'm just saying, you really think he pulled? I mean,
20 points.
He was okay. He was
He's a
okay in the last two
pretender, bro.
games.
I don't know.
In a lot-
I don't
he
think it's fair. I don't think it's
disappeared in a lot of
no. I don't
stretches
think it's fair of
during-
you to say he disappeared, dude. I don't really
He's a
agree with that.
pretender, bro.
I don't really agree with that. He did, just like everybody else said, he did enough.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He's supposed to do better.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I can
Yeah.
agree
He's
with
not
that, but
supposed to just be
Yeah.
good.
We
That's like
understand.
giving.
We know he's not a number one, but damn, he's barely
number
a
two.
number three.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
barely a number three. Barely.
Right.
When you look at that game,
Morris kept him in the game.
Yes,
And
he
Morris
Reggie
did.
kept him in
Jackson.
the game.
and
Reggie
Reggie
Jackson.
Yes.
You know, so when you look at George's numbers yesterday, I'm pretty sure about 75% of his points came from the line.
Mhm.
And again, you got two of the best two-way players in the league, and Doncic still ran crazy. The thing with Porzingis, and believe me, I am not taking his side, but this is the year. Trust me, because I never knew. I always thought he wasn't that guy, but this is his year to it or get off the pot. Because think about something, guys. He's never had an off season where he worked on his game. Every one of his off seasons was based on rehab. Rehab is just catching up. It's not improving. You have to catch up to where you were. So he never had a chance to work on this factor, that factor, this factor, whatever. So if Dallas does decide to keep him, there'll be no more excuses, guys, because you had this time to
Nobody's
work on
taking
your
that
game.
contract.
They
I
will.
don't
Somebody
think
will.
nobody
You had a full season. You had a full season to show what you know, and go in there and get that work. You had a full season.
Well,
So
again,
it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna
can't
happen.
We can't use that excuse for some and not for all. You know, everybody had a full season, but then you heard some people complain about it was a quick turnaround. But then you didn't hear people complain about you had 6 months off last year before you got.
Yeah, but he was hurt last season. He didn't play in the playoffs. He was hurt last season.
Exactly, Bishop. He's been hurt every year. That's what I'm saying. So this will be his first year, Bishop. Again, I'm not defending him. This will be his first year where he gets to work on a certain portion of his game without doing rehab.
So him and AD are auditioning for the next Mr. Glass role?
Yes.
Don't even get me started, bro.
No, it's anytime you notice throughout his career, anytime there's a matchup where he could gauge where he is, they rest in him, or he's got knee pain or elbow pain. I've never seen him against like the premier players at his spot. Like there's always something. It's when he was with the Knicks. Anytime I'm like, okay, I'm looking forward to see what we got. Oh, he not playing. He got knee tendonitis. His elbow.
You know why? Bishop? You know why, Bishop?
Say it, Reggie.
Just like I said it. Just like I said before. He don't want it. It's simple as that.
Right.
Porzingis. He don't want it.
Listen,
he don't want it.
I think he needs it. Okay, you can say that. I like giving guys a chance when everybody's down on them. So you know how I roll. If everybody's against it, I'm for it. I honestly would like to see him with a different coach. Now, his first coach he had was that clown Fizdale. All right, that was the first coach he had. Right, actually, it was D'Antoni then Fizdale. So he had two clowns.
Yeah,
he got another clown in Carlisle. I would love to see him
D'Antoni
with a name.
Well, actually, the Knicks had a bunch of bad coaches during his stretch. So
right. So I'd like to see him with a Nate McMillan, not for nothing to Doc Rivers. We say we want about Doc Rivers, but guys play up to their potential. Guys play up to their potential under him. Now he look. You say what you want, but look at guys. Guys have gotten better as players under Doc Rivers.
Did y'all see Jolo Price becoming an MVP candidate?
Yeah, before he got hurt.
Yeah, that. Not now.
Before he got hurt.
But and that's due to Doc. not the other coach.
Oh, come
Whatever.
on.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like,
But who we got?
Whatever.
Who we got in the next series? Utah versus LA.
yeah,
Utah, easy.
Utah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
5 games.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
5 games.
Six.
that's gonna be a
I'll
tough.
say 6.
That's gonna
Man,
be
the
a tough
Clippers gonna
series.
beat them, man.
That's gonna be a tough series because they can guard Donovan Mitchell. The two of them dudes, Kawhi, Batum, and Paul George, they can all guard this
Mitchell.
dude Mitchell.
Mhm.
And once you stop him, it seems like that offense just gets stagnated. Like they can't score, they can't they short circuit.
They said the same thing about those 3 guys stopping Doncic.
Well, that's a different beast. That's a different
And now,
beast.
but now
That's
I'm
a
just
different
saying
beast.
that Doncic didn't have the other weapons that
Yeah,
Mitchell
that's
had. Mitchell
Mitch-
had
yeah,
better
because
perimeter
Mitchell's too
shooting.
small.
Because
Mitchell's
the
too
point,
small.
the point guard in Utah's isn't that Conley?
Mike
Yeah,
Conley.
he's hurt again. He's hurt again.
for
Now. That's
real?
why I said 6. Yeah, he got a hamstring.
Damn. Okay.
Chris Paul.
He'll play.
Mike
Chris
Conley's
Paul
always hurt.
is battling an injury also.
Damn.
Who is?
Chris Paul is battling an injury. His
Yeah,
shoulder.
he been
His shoulder,
hurt.
right?
That's gonna be a good series, though. Oh my God, that Denver Phoenix. That's gonna be a good series, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
Booker
Yeah.
and Michael Porter Jr. going shot for shot. Come on.
I got Denver. I got Denver in that one.
You got Denver in that one?
Listen,
I'm
I'm just
a
gonna
Michael Porter guy.
enjoy the show. I'm gonna enjoy the show. I like both teams, so I'm gonna enjoy this.
You're not picking.
I'm gonna do what you do. I'm a lawyer up.
Damn, why you gotta throw me out there like that, man? Damn, son. I'm
That's
not a
what you do.
politician or a lawyer.
Yes,
No,
yes,
I don't.
You're a politician.
The bad
What
thing
office?
is,
What seat you running for? You running for a seat in Queens or Brooklyn?
Let me just give this quick disclaimer, real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, in the paint would like to say that while Mark A. Cunningham likes to think that I'm a politician and lawyer, let it be said that he has officially lost every bet against me. And he hasn't even honored one of them yet.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm just saying, I'm still waiting on my iced tea.
Yeah. I'm pulling that. That's that East New York. That's that East New York bullshit right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, spoken from a former representative.
No doubt.
Shout out to you, my king.
I
See,
got
you see, look at now he's putting on his deflection game real quick right now. Trying to deflect real quick.
I gotta ask you guys though, can y'all actually stay up for these 10-30 games?
No.
I don't sleep, so yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Let me ask y'all this: Who's the MVP this year? Is it Jokic?
Yeah,
Is it Embiid?
No, they just keep. They've been politicking. They've been politicking for Jokic for the whole season.
Yep.
They've been politicking for him.
But does he
24
deserve
points.
it?
24 points, 10 rebounds. He's
I
so
agree.
great. He's so durable. He's so this. He's so that. I'm like, yeah, but your team finished what, 4th in the division? Was it 4th? Did they finish 4th in the division?
Who do you
I don't
pick
know,
then?
but they're the 3rd seed.
Yeah,
they were
who
the
do you
third
pick,
seed?
Chandler? Who do you pick, Bishop?
Jokic, because listen, all you have to do is watch him play. He's averaging like 7 assists. He's a double. I think he's 30 or 20, 28 and 10 or 12 plus like 7 assists. I mean, and yes, you know what? Being able to actually stay on the court and play and handling the ball and not for nothing, everybody knowing you getting the ball, everybody gearing their defense to you, and they can't do a damn thing to stop you.
Check this out. He led a team even before the injury. He led that team in assists, and he had a point guard in Jamal Murray. He's only 1 or 2 or 3 players this year. Him, Randall, I forget who the other third guy is that led their team in points, rebounds, and assists.
Right.
I think it was
only 2 other guys did that. Julius Randle being one of them. No other players done that.
I don't care. I don't care.
For me,
I'm gonna say
MVP,
it's James Harden for me. I don't give a shit.
No.
I don't
enough
care.
games, bro.
I don't care. What part of I don't care did you not understand? I don't care.
The problem that they
So you
keep
just
the
gonna
problem.
be belligerent.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. He's that candidate when they say the rent is too damn high. You want the funny mustache? You know what I'm talking about, Matt. You know what I'm talking about.
Now y'all got me snorting like Urkel.
Yo.
It happened again.
Oh God!
Before Embiid got hurt and they started tainting the water, talking about he didn't play enough games. This and that. His averages were he averaged more points. His team was top in the East. They stayed top in the East. They were number one in the East.
Let me ask you a question. If you take Embiid, right, you took Embiid off, and that team was still able to finish first, and he missed a lot of games. You take Jokic, and he misses the same amount of games. Denver's maybe an 8 seed.
Yeah.
And
you think about it.
Don't have the rap on, so
think about this. They not only missed Murray, they missed Barton. They missed 2 of their best guards on their team. And in the Western Conference, they barely had a hiccup. They kept trugging along. And guess what? I just saw a stat. He's second or first in points in the playoffs. Jokic, whatever how you say his name.
Jokic.
33 points a night in the playoffs.
Denver made the right call when they got rid of Nurkic bum behind and sent him off.
No, Chandler, you know how I feel about this. Denver made the right call when they took a flyer on Michael Porter and said, "We'll let this young man sit for a year and see what happens." And let's see what happens.
Yeah,
while the Knicks still got Kevin Knox on the sideline with pom-poms.
I keep telling you that again, the situation, no pressure on him. Only thing he got to do is come in and let it fly. He don't have to play no defense. He don't have to rebound. He doesn't have to be that guy. There's no pressure on him. So that's a totally different situation than if he was in New York and they would be expecting a lot of him. And you can clearly see that he's not that guy. He plays no defense. He barely rebounds. The only thing he's good for is shooting.
He don't average no. He don't get no rebounds. He almost averaged double this year.
Yeah, I mean, that kid's special. No matter how you slice it,
stuff out.
He's special.
He averaged a double in rebounds.
I said he almost checked his numbers. He almost averaged a double.
What's almost?
Somebody
I watched
look it up.
Games.
I'm using my phone for this.
I watched the games.
Somebody check his numbers.
He averaged 8 or 9 rebounds.
I would have to.
8 or 9 rebounds.
I would have to see that because I watched those games.
Somebody check his numbers real quick.
His baby steps. Also, I mean, he's been. He can do more than shoot. That kid's a scorer. He's an elite scorer.
Yes.
But he's also being brought along where they added this to his game, and not for nothing, he does play more defense now. He does rebound more. Now there are games where he still floats because he's still young and all those other things. But it's night and day for him last year to this year. It's night and day.
He averaged 7 rebounds a game.
Okay. 7 rebounds a game for a guy that can't rebound. That's not bad. When you got a guy on your team that's averaging 12, that's not bad for basically a second-year player. If you skip over his first year, he's a second-year player doing all this. He's fluid. Some guys just have it, guys. Whether you like them or not like them, some guys just have it, and he has it. He's a very, he's just a. And I always got to get off of it because when you look at it, the Knicks taking Knox, the Knicks sucked after Knox, got another pick after Knox. Imagine them having Porter. He sat that year. And we're still waiting for Kevin Knox to become anything. I'm not even saying Kevin Knox, just anything. Just anything.
Look at Porter Jr.'s numbers. 19 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. He shot 54% from the field. He shot 44% from the 3 line. And 79% from the free throw line.
In his second year.
That's a great number 3. And he became the number 2 actually when Jamal Murray went down.
Right. And he's lighting it up as we speak. If you're peeking at the game. He's Michael Porter. He's being Michael Porter. That's all. That's all they expected him to do. You know, and he's doing
Right.
it. You got to give the kid credit, man. He sat out
Okay.
a whole year.
Okay, I hear you.
Right.
Let's
Head off.
let's do some moving on. Still in the lane of the NBA. This one this was a shocker for me. Boston Celtics president Danny Ainge steps down, and Brad Stevens, the coach, the former coach, should I say, will leave his head coach position to take the title of president. This is interesting to me. I was kind of a little bit rocked. You know, not that I'm yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you a little bit, because my thing is like I forgot what college that Stevens came from. Butler. Okay, I thought he did a good job there, and I actually applauded the hiring of Stevens.
You did.
For Boston. I did, and I thought it was a great move for them, and it's definitely a step in the right direction with this type of coach. Now, the only problem I have with this is, you're a coach. I don't know how you are as a management person or whatnot. I don't know. At Butler, did he have like that type of swag title? I mean, I don't know. Did he have his a big say in player personnel at Butler?
Well, he's a head coach, so yeah. I mean, he's one
but there's a difference between head coaching and being a general manager / president.
Yeah, it is. I think this is trash. I think it's trash all the way around. Now, you guys understand that I've hated Danny Ainge since he was in college. Okay, I hated him when he played baseball. I hated him when he played basketball. I hate Danny Ainge. Okay,
now that's the Chandler I know.
Okay,
basically,
I didn't like him in college. All right, I remember when he went to college. All right, I hated him then. I hated him when he played the Toronto Blue Jays. All right,
did you like him when he came out the womb? I'm like, God, geez, man, what the fuck?
Did you like him on the Phoenix Suns?
I couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand him on the Celtics. I couldn't stand him. But he turned out to be. You can say what you want about the past few years, but he was very successful as the general manager there. The team was always in contention, except for maybe a couple of years. They won a championship. You say what you want about that, whatever. But overall, he was successful. I thought he did a good job for Boston. When the hell, Brad Stevens didn't want to coach the players that Danny Ainge got him. It was too hard for him. And Bishop, I'm gonna give you this because you said this 2 years ago when we were talking about Brad Stevens, and you kept saying and I was like, yeah, but he's doing a good job. You were like, is he though? And it turned out, was he really though? You understand? Because when he had to deal with personalities and guys started feeling themselves, Brad Stevens turned into a guy who had sat in the corner and the team fell apart. This is the guy you want running your organization? Really?
Well, Chandler, let's take a look at he had a decent regular season record. Almost 60%. Actually 55%. But very mediocre in the playoffs. He's 38 and 40 in the playoffs.
Mediocre.
As the pressure increased, he decreased. This is the guy you want running your organization. I don't get it.
So I think Boston kind of like painted themselves back in the box, because you got to remember, it was only a few years ago that they were saying, how Danny Ainge has acquired so many young pieces and so many assets, everybody would be chomping at the bits to deal with Boston because they got so much flexibility and so forth and so on.
Right.
And then what they realized is Danny Ainge is an asshole. And he was making trades. He was making trades like that IT trade. They knew he was operating on a bum hip, and he had him playing in the playoffs when he knew he shouldn't have been playing. He had him playing in the playoffs, used and abused him, and then instead of at least signing and trading him, and you didn't even have to give him max money. You didn't have to give him max money. You could have signed him and traded him off. You basically screwed him over. And then you tried to come back and do the same thing after everybody knew who you are. You tried to do the same thing with Kimba. And it's like, you see how many people wanted to deal with you then. Like, no matter how many pieces they have, nobody wants to deal with Boston. Because you can't tell me that they didn't try to trade like Brown or somebody to get some pieces. Nobody wants to deal with him. So it's like, yo, if nobody gonna deal with you as a GM, you basically stuck. And Brad Stevens, I can see him in management's ear, like, yeah, I can't. If I had this guy or if I had that guy, then I would be able to do this or I'd be able to do that. And he can't get it for me. So it's like, yeah, you.
Well, also they don't really have a lot of cap space the next few
because they signed Tatum and a guy that Bishop said they would have got rid of if they could have, Brown. But
I'm gonna read y'all their salaries for next year. Kemba's making 36. Jaylen Brown's making 24. Even Evan Fournier is a free agent at the end of this year.
Good.
Marcus Smart is making 14. Tatum's making 28 next year. Tristan Thompson's making 9. All their slots are filled with other players who are making, under $4 million, but all their slots are filled.
Right.
Except for
they got no coach.
They got 3 slots left.
I look at Danny. You know what I call Danny Ainge? Kenny Rogers. He never knew when to hold him, when to fold him. All them assets Bishop brought up. He didn't know what to do with them. He didn't. You had all those assets. And don't give me that. They went to the conference finals 3 out of 4 years. That was kind of, I ain't going to say fluky, but the East wasn't as good as it is now. It
was cute.
They had was Cleveland. Yeah. They had,
it was cute.
It was cute. Thank you, R. But he held them assets. And then what does he do? He signs Kemba Walker on one leg. Now, here's where Jordan wasn't as dumb as everybody thought, huh? Everybody said, he didn't want to give him a max. No. If you watch Kemba Walker, his career in Charlotte, you saw he was taking a beating for a guy 6'1", always going to the basket, always ending up on his ass. It was only a matter of time before the wheels came off. But the same guy that didn't know what to do with none of those assets signed him $33 million. Really? And who was missing down the stretch of the season and the playoff? Kemba Walker.
And you know what, Dominic? What you point out about the 3 out of 4 conference finals, that's why I don't like this moving Brad Stevens up, because the teams that went to the conference finals were teams that shouldn't have made it. That he overachieved with those teams. But when he had the team with Kyrie, the team this season, teams that had expectations, he fell flat on his face.
Well, we can cancel the having Kyrie. They got the 2 out of those 3 conference finals when Kyrie was hurt.
I understand it, but that's what I'm saying. Those teams shouldn't have made it, but they did, so they overachieved. But let's just look at this season. That team, listen, there's no way in hell that team shouldn't have made the playoffs. Okay, but there was pressure on Brad Stevens, and he folded. Okay, and the team was listless and directionless. And again, this is the man you want running your organization.
But again, here we go with this. Blame the coach, don't blame the coach. I watched a lot of Celtic games. And for some reason, and I might be wrong, guys, I think Tatum is trying too hard to mimic Kobe. He does too much ISO. He don't get nobody involved in the game when he has the ball. I know that, but I'm saying there's one thing to have an idol, but then to mimic him at the expense of the other players on the team. You don't hear a lot about that, but if you watch a lot of Celtic games, he's ISO king. When he touches the ball, he shoots. Again, we could say the coach. I get that, guy. But they gave him this extraordinary contract. They gave him the cachet, like a lot of teams in the NBA are doing. Like we talked, I heard y'all mumble Portland and their coach. Portland is who they are.
Well, we're going to talk about them after this.
But when you look at Boston, especially this year, and I'll give them as much as it pains me because I hate Boston. I'll give them a semi-alibi for their injuries. But that being said, guys, didn't the Eastern Conference get better this year, or is it just me? I'm just saying the competition got better, and they
some teams overachieved and some teams underachieved. I don't think it got,
but they got better, Chandler. That's what I'm saying. They got better, and now you're playing because remember, during the season, you're going to play more Eastern Conference teams than you are Western Conference teams. That's a gimme. But now you're playing tougher competition. And what happened? The conference
didn't get better or weaker. It just teams shifted.
They got better.
Some teams got better and some teams got bad. But Boston should have been better this year.
Yes.
And they weren't. And they weren't last year, and they weren't the previous years in the playoffs.
Yeah. They caught
and we've talked about Brad Stevens. He don't adjust. He just standing there, boy wonder, boy listless.
Coach Clapp.
Yeah. So if you can remember, so I'm not a Kyrie fan, but the whole fiasco when Kyrie was there, that wasn't Kyrie's fault. So I think when he got his
part of it is Kyrie's fault.
When he got I'm explaining to you. Just bear with me for a second. When Brad Stevens got his boy from Utah, when they got that kid out of Utah, and you had Gordon Hayward, and you had two young up and coming with Tatum and Brown. What they were doing was they were force feeding minutes to Hayward when you had these two young, hungry lions on the bench that were more than capable of doing. Then Gordon got hurt. When Gordon got hurt, he came back. He still wasn't ready. He still wasn't right. The ankle thing, he still wasn't right. And Brad Stevens kept trying to force feed him minutes. Some nights he would be okay, and some nights he would only give you 2 points. And it was frustrating them younger dudes because he was making a place for Gordon, and there was no place for him. Then that's when Kyrie said, well, you know what? I'm going to do what I do. I'm not concerned with that. I'm going to do what I do. And that's when he started shooting and whatever. And then things start going south because it's like, well, you got the green light. We just as good as you. And he giving you the green light. And then that's when Kyrie became the asshole Kyrie that he is. And then that's how there was the friction with the younger dudes. Because it's like, you can't tell me, okay, well, I'm calling LeBron to apologize to LeBron because you being an asshole. You being an asshole, and now they being an asshole to you, and you don't like it. But you know how I feel because you were doing the same thing, LeBron. Like, I'm just as good as you.
But
so
the
it's
funny
like
the funny thing about that analogy, Bishop, before I lose my train of thought, it sounds great, but they got better when Kyrie got hurt.
Well, that's because they stopped. That's because they stopped running the offense through, trying to run the offense through Hayward, and they let them young Thundercats go. That's when Brown and Tatum really started coming into their own, and that's when Gordon Hayward was like, "I got to get out of here." Gordon Hayward was like, "I got to get out of here."
They had a whole year to do that.
Gordon Hayward didn't want to leave.
He wanted to leave. He wanted to leave.
If I'm not mistaken, Gordon Hayward got hurt his first game with Boston, so they
he got his ankle.
They had that whole year for these Thundercats to be Thundercats, and they did because they went to the conference finals.
They snuck up on
Kyrie got hurt, and they went to the conference finals.
Right, but listen,
Isaiah Thomas was there.
Listen, Kyrie tore up that locker room, and Brad Stevens let him tear up the locker room.
There you go. And that's where I say again. So unless they hire Sam Cassell as the coach, I'm going to say that this is a fail by making him the president of basketball. I'm sorry, the president of basketball operations. I'm going to say this is a fail. Right. It's a fail. Massive.
Right. And I hope the Knicks can get Jason Tatum. That's what I really hope.
That ain't
what? I know.
You sound like you've been on Twitter.
Oh, Jesus!
Nick's gonna get every player in the league.
You know what I hate, Dom? When I go on Twitter and I see dudes posting people in other teams' jerseys, like after Portland and Terry Stotts parted ways, really, Portland said, listen, you can say what you want to say, but we're letting you go. And next thing I see Dame Lillard in a Knick uniform, and then Dame Lillard wants to come here. Dame Lillard has never said he wanted to leave Portland. Let's be specific. He has never said he wanted to leave Portland.
Nope.
He may now. He may now, maybe because he wanted Jason Kidd.
Right.
And I think Portland stepped in and said, no, we don't want Jason Kidd. And I think
Jason Kidd.
No. Let me finish my statement. he declined. But I think somebody spoke to him because the Portland fan base does not want Jason Kidd because of his messy situation. And I think Kidd just said, I don't want to step into that situation because they don't want me anyway. And I think Portland's management doesn't want him either. So,
but they would have had to sign him if Dame Lillard said I want him, he would have had to go. But Jason Kidd for once made a smart decision.
He got in front of the story. He looked at the landscape and he said, "Whoa, I got a messy background."
Well, the locker room would have been torn up if he comes in there because now Dame is handpicking the coach.
Right.
I like that Dame said that, but I kind of don't like it because you kind of the two names he mentioned, you kind of screwing them because if they come in and one of them comes in and it doesn't work, you kind of screwed them. Dame.
Who's the other name, Chandler?
He said Jason Kidd and good God. I think he said Lloyd Pierce, believe it or not.
I think so. Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did say it.
Yeah. I don't know about that one, Dame, but listen, Dame, stick to shoot threes, bro. Don't pick coaches. But I mean, they need a coach who's actually going to get guys to play defense, who's going to demand guys play defense. They have guys who can play defense. Let's be honest, they just don't. Nurkic should be a hell of a lot better defensively than he is. And I know he's coming off that broken leg, but he is nowhere near the player he was 2 years ago.
Two broken legs.
On defense now. You watch him close out. He closes out in the angle. He can have somebody in front of him, and suddenly he's at an angle, and they got the way to go. Dude, they're right in front of you. All you got to do is square up. How can you not square up and you 7 foot tall? Yes, I don't get it. So they, you know what? They kind of need to, as soon as you think about not blowing it up, but doing a major retool.
Right.
So would you trade Dame or would you trade CJ?
Neither, but Nurkic can go.
You got to trade
everybody else can go. Everybody
you got to trade one of them little guards.
I would keep Norman. I would keep Norman Powell. I would keep Norman Powell. I would keep him. But they need a big man. They need a big man. That other kid, the ones that can shoot, that didn't play all season, get rid of him. It's like, yo, you need guys that they can feed the ball to, or some young bigs that they can get up and down and run with. It's like Nurkic, he's hurt like 30 games, 40 games out of each season for the last like 5 seasons, and it's like, yo, you can't play like that.
Yo, how does Terry Stotts keep getting jobs?
Dude, you know how this goes, man. You know people, they like you. You played
he was horrible in Atlanta.
Yep.
He was mediocre in Milwaukee.
His haircut.
I'm in Portland.
And he was slightly better in Portland. And his playoff record is 23-44. How are you still getting jobs?
But I love that analogy Chandler gave. You got guys that can play defense, that know how to play defense, and what happened?
Yeah.
Does a coach got to tell you, get in your man's face? I mean, there's some basic fundamentals of basketball, guys. Come on. Really?
Okay, but all we got to do is look at the Knicks. Now, up until this season, nobody ever accused Julius Randle of playing no damn defense. Let's be honest. Julius Randle was a turnstile. All right.
Yes,
this season, suddenly he's playing hard on defense. And defense is about effort. Okay.
Yep.
It's about effort. And he had guys giving effort for this coach Thibodeau. Now, Terry Stotts never got guys to give him effort. Yes, I'm putting that on him because if they're not giving effort, then get their ass off the floor. If Nurkic can't guard a dead body, stop starting him.
So then you're gonna start Enes Kanter?
You know what? I hate to say that, but I tell you what.
Effort.
Yeah, he gave you more rebounds. He got you more rebounds.
Right.
And he damn sure would have got you more offensive rebounds because he's probably still the best offensive rebounder in the game. But if somebody, Thibodeau is lightning in the bottle. You know what you're getting with Thibodeau. He's going to stress it, but you still got to do it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. You still got to do it.
Right.
You know, you got Portland who, no knock against Lillard. He comes out shooting from the locker room, but they can't stop nobody else from shooting from the locker room.
Also,
when is it? And here's the thing: you needed defense, and no knock. You needed defense since 1916. You go out and get Carmelo Anthony, another offensive player, who's never been known to be, defensive player of the year. No shade, but you go out and get more offense instead of some defense.
But that's what
like
you
the wheels on
Well,
the bus go
the
round and round with them.
The move to get Norman Powell was a good move because
Yes,
he is he's a
yes.
solid two-way
Yeah,
player.
the move.
And hold on, Bishop. And his offense improved this year because they actually let him play in the offense.
Yep.
Yeah, he was actually showing that in Toronto.
No, so they attempted to get some defensive pieces because they got Covington first.
Yes.
Then they got Norman Powell.
Right.
But what happened is when they lost that game 5, when Covington missed those 2 putback dunks, the 2 dunks were to go ahead, and that game that Dame had the 55,
yes.
he missed 2 dunks, and then C.J. McCollum stepped out of bounds instead of just shooting the shot that he was shooting all game. He steps out of bounds. It's like I knew Stotts was gone then because it's like there's no way that they should have lost that game.
Nope.
And if they did lose that game, they win the series, and we're not talking. They on to the next thing, and we're not having this conversation. That one game, I saw that one game, and it's just like, dude, like, there's no way that they should have lost that game. No
I think
way.
R had to leave, and R had said previously that he felt Terry Stotts was going to be on the hot seat this season.
Oh yeah.
His prediction came true.
He went to get his wings.
Everything Bishop said is correct. But if you watch that double overtime game, it came down to that guy again, Michael Porter Jr. Nobody on him, hits a wide open 3, game is over. Now, if we want to talk ifs and ands, if Denver had Barton and Murray, they sweep Portland. They would have swept them.
But the thing is, that series was a microcosm of Terry Stotts' tenure in Portland, which is your losing series you should win. Denver didn't have those 2 guys. You can't lose that series, especially when Dame gives you 55. You can't lose that series.
But here's the thing, Chandler. Here's the thing, Chandler. You're a team. Y'all know basketball. You're a team that plays no defense. We identified that, whether it's Stotts, the man on the moon. You don't play defense. Now you're playing a team that moves the ball. That's like cherry picking. Because you ain't moving with them. How you think Michael Porter got that wide open 3?
That's all well and good.
Nobody moved. Game over.
Okay, that's all well and good, but the fact of the matter is that they were out 2 of their best players. All right. And you should have Portland should have won that series in 5 games. Let's be honest.
Yep.
But 6 at the most, and they lost it.
Here's the thing, Chandler. Going with your theory, they lost Murray quite a while ago. They lost Barton quite a while after that, but they never missed a beat. They kept playing their game. They never altered their game. Then they go out and get Gordon. Then they go out and get Rivers.
Who didn't do a lot in this series.
But here's the thing, though. They're doing what they were supposed to do. That's it. That's all Denver does. Hey, Chandler, we want you to come play for us. We just want you to be you and just do this and this. Gordon, good defensive player. He'll get you 14, 15 points. You're not on Orlando no more. We don't need you to score 30. Do what you do. That's how the system is ran.
That's great. That matchup was set up for Portland to win based on who wasn't there for Denver. And as usual, Terry Stotts didn't get out the first round. I don't care what you say.
As usual, their players didn't play no defense. They
well,
just don't
That's
play
on
defense.
him,
Dom. That's also called scheme. That's also called scheme, bro.
You can't tell me on one breath, guys. And I don't want to be argumentative, but you can't tell me on one breath that I know guys can do this, this, and this. And you don't do this, this, and this. It's easy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. Tell me
the Mike D'Antoni team that ever played defense.
But
tell me
how far did they get, Chandler? That's the thing.
Exactly. That's on the coaching.
Defense.
That's on the coaching.
To play defense. But still, at the end of the day, Chandler, on one breath, you said, I know these guys can do A, B, and C. But because the coach don't tell you to do A, B, and C, You're not going to do A, B, and C. Come on, guys.
Yes,
if you
because
look at
if the
Portland,
coach says don't worry about defense, you're not gonna
I
worry
don't
about
think
defense.
I don't think that's happening because this has been their MO forever. If you look at Portland this year, guys, look at the numbers. Their points per game and their points allowed is almost historical. So you're telling me everybody on that team was part of some conspiracy theory that we're not going to play no defense. The coach said,
No, I'm
don't play
saying
defense.
the system.
We're not
I'm
going to
saying the
play
system
defense.
that was being run was not one that emphasized defense, as we've said for years about Mike D'Antoni teams. So I'm not going to give Terry Stotts an alibi when we never given D'Antoni an alibi.
I don't think nobody's trying to give him an alibi, Chandler. All I'm trying to do is place the onus on an individual. You see
But
where
it's
this
not
is
on
going.
the individuals. If
The
I'm in
onus is on
charge,
the coach.
if
but
I'm
not
in charge,
doing what he's
I'm
supposed to do.
responsible for what you do or don't do. I'm responsible for it, no matter how you slice it. So if I don't emphasize it, okay, and you don't do it, at the end of the day, it's not supposed to be, well, they should have the personal da-da-da-da-da. Guess what? This is reality. And if you don't tell people what to do, 9 out of 10 times they're not going to do it. If you don't stress it, they're not going to do it. So at the end of the day, Terry Stotts failed to emphasize a fundamental aspect of the team, which was playing defense. And his teams suffered because of it for 9 years.
They suffered because nobody put their head down and said, this is how we win a game. I'm not totally taking the coach's side, guys, but you can't tell me that a guy making $33 million a year or whatever, he's watching this year after year. And he, as an individual, like Kevin Knox, we gave alibis. He's young. But when does Kevin Knox have a nickel in that dime? Everybody has a nickel in the dime. You didn't have the Coonans and say, we really need to press up. How many times do you see, let's say, a Chris Paul, who sometimes gets lambasted for getting in his players' asses? There was nobody on Portland that could have said, hey, Mark, we really need to lock down. We really need to stop.
No,
They had nobody on that team that would do that.
So no. So
Okay,
when you look at the best opportunity that they had was when they played Golden State and Dame became really small. He allowed Draymond Green and Kevin Looney to trap him beyond the 3-point line. That was their best opportunity to go to the conference finals or play for a championship. They never played defense. The backcourt, the two of them, Dame and McCollum, they're really small. They're small guards. They don't play defense. They're not a menace. Their objective is just to outscore you. And at this point, yes, it's relevant in the way that basketball is played today, with being able to shoot, being able to put up a lot of points on the board. But if the other 3 guys on your team are not 2-way players or like defensive juggernauts and score, at will as well, then you're not going to win anything.
Right.
You're not going to win anything. It's like
But
you don't have no anchor.
Effort. It's got to be about effort, Bishop. You got no effort. You got no intestinal fortitude to say, I can do this.
Dom, if teams take on the personality of their coach, if your coach isn't stringent on defense, the team isn't going to be stringent on defense.
But again, Mark, you got players in this league, a LeBron, a Chris Paul, a guy that's going to step up and say, this has to be done. It's not brain surgery. I'm not
Every
saying
team doesn't have that. Every team doesn't have that.
But they do. And I'm saying it's got to be one guy on the team, guys.
It's not though.
Come on,
so
then that's on the player.
So let me ask you, who's the player on Portland that's going to do that? Dame isn't concerned about defense. CJ McCollum definitely isn't concerned about defense.
And you know what?
Nurkic is trying to walk right. And
everything we said, and Bishop brought up a good point with Lillard, and he did it again in that last game. When he goes invisible in the 4th quarter, and y'all ain't a great defensive team, that's a recipe for an L.
But he was gassed after playing damn near the entire, playing almost 6 quarters the last game. I mean, at the end of the day, again, this comes back to the coach, because again, we've seen teams that had 2 premier scorers. A matter of fact, let's go to the Allen Iverson teams. Allen Iverson Let's be honest. Al was about shooting and scoring. Every once in a while, he would steal a ball or whatever, but he was no great defensive player. But what
He
you
gave
did was
effort on defense.
Yeah,
he
he
did give.
hustled.
He gave a lot of effort on defense.
I'm not saying he didn't, but what you
Yes.
did though was you surrounded him with guys who said, "I'm going to play defense first to get my points later." Portland never built a team like that. Portland built a team of offense first guys. Okay, which means that the coach has to scheme better to get guys in positions to be a better defensive team, not individual defensively, but a better defensive team. And everybody keeps wanting to bring up the Knicks. The Knicks didn't have no great individual defenders. They played great team defense. Okay, that was because of the coach that was brought in. Nate McMillan's teams play good team defense. They don't got a bunch of great individual defenders. They play good
except
team
for Capella.
Except for Capella, because of the schemes that the coach is running. Some coaches can actually coach defense, some can't. Terry Stotts couldn't and never has.
He never coached defense because they tried to get the personnel. I remember when they had Mo Harkless, they had Farouk Amin, they
were
those
better
guys.
defensively than though. They were better defensively.
They were better defenders, but what the team started doing was just double teaming Dame and McCollum, funneling the ball to those guys, and they couldn't hit a shot. They couldn't hit a shot to save their life. They couldn't hit a shot to save their life. So
like
it's like,
Robert
okay,
Covington.
yeah, it's like, yo, you know what? We're giving that up. We're just gonna outscore you. We're just gonna average 120 points a game. We're gonna average 120 points a game. It's gonna be a Wild West shootout, and we feel like our gunman is more accurate than your gunman. So if the game is on the line, we'll just do Dame time, and that's what their focus was, Dame time. It's like, no, it's defense.
Yeah,
right, pretty much.
But you know what? I gotta
playoff-
say this. Go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say,
every playoffs, Dame will have a game where he goes off, and then they go home. Great game before they go home.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the next game
is
gas.
We can't
nobody
just blame
shows up.
Portland. We just can't blame Portland. I mean, we're talking about them, but this is the NBA as a whole. We always talk about defense. This guy, Michael Porter Jr. don't play good defense. There's probably 7% of the NBA players that actually play good defense. You know, so it's a good get out of jail free card. But that being said, that's not the NBA today, guys. The NBA wants points.
Coaches.
Right.
There's still mediocre coaches. There's a lot of mediocre coaches in the NBA.
It's the NBA overall, Chandler. We've seen.
Yep. And with that, fellas, I have to go. I don't know who got booted.
I think Dom was about to make another bad point.
Maybe his device ran out of power.
Bad business decision. Yeah.
Right. But I have to go. So it's been great. Chandler, I'm gonna call you in a minute, all right?
All right.
Thank everybody for joining us. This is In the Paint, the realest show in sports. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, In the Paint Media Group. Bishop, I see you, bro. East New York.
Yes, sir.
I see you.
All right.
I see you.
Yes,
Reg, I see you.
Yes, sir.
Ronan in the chat room, I see you. Thank y'all for joining us, and we'll be back later this week. Peace.